soon. And this is Guess I'll Say It. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and please share. All right, let's get to it.
Give me 1 second. I'm about to. I gotta get the documents up. All right. So, all right. So for the first topic we got tonight, fellas, is the Grammys. We're talking about the Grammys. Was it rigged? How do you guys feel about it? Um, there's a long-standing accusation that claims that the Grammy Awards are opaque, insider-driven, and rather than purely merit-based. Who want to kick it off?
I guess I can, from a little bit I understood from it. There was people who stood up against it, and I mean, voiced their grievances about the Grammys, and said that I didn't know there was only two hip hop albums in the history of the Grammys that won the album of the year. Somebody can look up what type of who were they? I know Kendrick was one of them. And a lot of it goes to like rock and roll artists, alternative, and so forth. So that was like eye opening to me. I'm not a big fan of the Grammys. The only reason why this is a topic because Kendrick Lamar won album of the year when everyone was geared towards the Clipse Let God Sort Them Out. I know I was. I was voting for the Clipse to win it all this year, and rightfully so. When you compare that and Gen Next, from a hip hop purist standpoint or fan, they should have won. But then when I look at it from Kendrick Gen Next, it just came off it just came off of the hype from the Drake and Kendrick battle. So that still had momentum going on with it. And it had a lot of what you call it, anthems that also changed the culture. We all know that when Kendrick drops an album, he somewhat changes the culture. And Pimp a Butterfly, he had We're Gonna Be All Right and so forth. So he always had those anthems that's long standing that you can go back in a certain time and say, okay, I remember what I was doing when this song came out. So it makes the album more memorable. So Gen X had a lot of that in it, just coming off again, the Drake battle. And then they had Turn the TV Off, which also got an award, These are memorable moments within the album. And I don't think the Clipse was successful in that album in doing that. Although that was a great album. Pharrell did the production on there. They had features like Tyler, the Creator, and so forth. They had Nas on there. Again, from a hip hop purist, the Clipse had better features, better production, and they had songs like "Birds Don't Sing," and they, it was a strong album. But I don't think the Grammys, their politics, they see things in a different way. So they see things in what's more impactful. And if we're going to look at the album out of the two that was more impactful, Gen X is the more impactful album. In that case, they got it right.
Yes. It's interesting though, because rap is one of the most dominant like you mentioned, rap is only won 2 times, but it's the most dominant category, or one of the most dominant categories. Country is won more times, I think it's 3 times. And the album of the year for this year was I'm gonna butcher this, but the Bad Bunny, Debbie Terra Mas Fotos,
Yeah.
which is didn't wasn't 2025 Kendrick's year? He had a
Yeah.
lot of he had a lot of buzz and a lot of hype.
Okay, Bad Bunny got album of the year, or did Kendrick
He
just
got
get or did Kendrick
he
get hip hop album of the year?
he got best rap album of the year, but Bad
Okay,
Bunny got the
okay,
overall album of the year.
okay. All right. Oh goodness. So what do y'all think about Glorilla? Um, they had to put a female in that category for best hip hop album of the year. Do you think that she had, from a female perspective, had the best album of the year?
You know, maybe I guess it depends on what you judging it by, the metrics that you're judging it by. If you judging it purely off of spins, you know what I mean, and if she resonates with the crowd, yeah. I mean, Glorilla put some bangers out there. They some anthems that you would want to play in your car and so on and so forth. You know, more than I don't want to pit any of the other female artists against each other, but I would prefer her over like Megan Thee Stallion or
Cardi
Cardi
B.
B or any of the mainstream albums. Now, in terms of lyricism, I don't know the artist that you showed me. What was it, Shay Noir or something? What was that one?
Shane Wong.
Yeah.
I think I heard her. I was like, whoa, but she not in the category. They're not gonna talk about her.
Yeah, I'm surprised Cardi B went in the category, unless she registered her album came in too late.
I think it's right.
Because I
It
believe her
could have
album
been
came in
that, yeah,
June. Yeah, because I heard both albums, and me personally, I like the Cardi B's album better.
yeah.
Oh.
But it's with the Grammys, is we gotta say, when it comes to this, there's clearly some type of I don't want reach, but there's clearly some type of racial and genre bias. Like there's bias clearly against hip hop, and there's clearly a bias against black folks. You know what I mean? Even though we dominate the genre globally, or just the everybody plays hip hop, everybody loves hip hop.
So it's not just about music; it's about institution.
It's about institution, and then I know sometimes people have put out there that the Grammys favor personal relationships and industry connections, and then there's nepotism that goes on. So if there's a big artist, they're pushing to get their whoever they like or their children to get things and so on and so forth. So it's not a fair process, and even I know the Grammys has tried to make changes to the uh how voting is done and to make it more transparent. But the problem is once that trust is breached, once somebody don't trust the process,
Isn't it a board that's on? Doesn't the Grammys have like some type of board where they sit at a table? I'm assuming, and
I
they
know.
make these decisions or whatever go.
I know they combine a lot of votes because I knew somebody that voted for the Grammys. Like they sent them the form and everything, but that was as an artist that had won a Grammy before. So he would go through and then vote. So they would have that. It's similar to like the way they do the Pro Bowl for the NFL. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of got like the fan vote. You got the what the coaches and the players say. It's like a combination. So it's like to me, the Grammys remind me a lot of a what do they call it? Competition, popularity contest. In many ways, a popularity contest. I bet the record sales, also the touring and all that type of stuff probably play. I wouldn't be surprised if that plays a part as well. Because think about Kendrick last year, he was in the Super Bowl. This year we got Bad Bunny for the Super Bowl. Then he went album of the year. You know what I mean? So all of these things play a part. You know what I mean? This is big. This is all a part of the overall entertainment industry too. Keep that in mind.
Look, I read somewhere that says the former Recording Academy CEO, her name's Deborah Dugan.
Mm.
She alleged that there were the nominees were not chosen by voters. They allowed artists to sit in on committees and judge their own categories.
Mm.
That is, you talk about insider, and opaque practices. That
Right.
That's one of them. If that's going on.
Because when I saw the list that he was voting, there was all the names are already printed. You know what I mean? You just got to choose out of the list. So who put
Yeah.
that list together? That's already there. You know what I mean? But think about this too, though. Local radio stations, for that matter, they don't have the power they used to have, like say back in before the '90s. Back in them days when a lot of that stuff was local, that's why you had a lot of local artists would bubble up and come up on the scene. Now it's at the point now that a lot of these, they've been bought out by so many of these other companies, and it's like nationwide now. They're putting their people in place. All right, we want this one to shine. We want this one to ride next. We need a Korean girl to come in and do hip hop next, and the niggas gonna bring her in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just going the way that the game is being played now.
It's so political. It almost, like you said, it takes out the authenticity of why we love albums and what we as the people on the ground, the real fans, the real hip hop heads, what we deem should be the album of the year. You know.
You think it should be driven by the fans more than anything?
Yeah, I think so, to a degree. Because look, Alfredo 2 was not even mentioned. You know. And I'm sorry, but that was better than the Gorilla album. Tyler was mentioned, but me personally, I didn't. I mean, it's not for me. I didn't like the album too tough. Ghostface should have been in there. A couple artists should have been in there, but wasn't there. You know, well, Nas' album came out too late. But, you know, getting back to Alfredo 2, I think Alfredo 2 should have been in it, but it wasn't there. And this is the politics I don't like.
Do those albums, everything that you named, does that follow like the quote unquote purest sound?
Yeah.
I think that's what the game is against now. Like they probably decide now we're going away from that. We don't want to go back. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like you kind of see that playing out. Even though people are trying to push for it to go on, where they're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to go to this.
And I think 2025 was probably the most in a long time where hip hop from a pure standpoint was showing his face.
But you know what hurt? You know what hurt? Sales. I mean, when it came to shows, they couldn't sell out the shows.
Yeah. And everybody blamed it on the Canadian losing the battle. Because remember, the people that the Canadian was putting on his tour list were top sellers. You know, everybody from Atlanta, the 21 Savages, the Futures, and stuff like that. When that got separated and they, was in discord, that messed up like you said, the ticket sales and stuff like that. So they actually indirectly blame Kendrick Lamar for actually messing up hip hop.
Mm. Look, I know they made some changes that they abolished the secret nominating committees in 2022, and expanded its membership with I think they said 2/3 of the voters joining in the past 5 years, but it hasn't really restored confidence. A lot of the art, like this high profile artists, like The Weeknd and Halsey and Zayn Malik that boycotted. Weeknd acknowledged that the change, but it still not really interested in it because
I'm interested why would Weeknd. I don't have too much knowledge on it, but I'm very interested why would an artist like The Weeknd be against it? Is it something personal, or is there something that
he lost?
He said cars and said, you know what, I don't like how the system is ran, or is it just like you said?
He thought it was corrupt. He lost. He thought it was corrupt. He thought he deserved the album of the year, and for during that period. That's all.
Who were the two hip hop artists that got album of the year? Because they say history proves that it was only two artists, hip hop artists.
So you got, of course, Kendrick Lamar got rap album of the year, and then the record of the year, I guess, is Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA. It might be more that It might be more. I didn't watch the whole Grammys, but it might be a little bit more than that. But that's what I have.
Yo, do you think it's a smack in the face what Pharrell and the Clipse, what Virginia Beach had put forth in 2025? Like they got performance of the year. They got what is it? Kendrick got feature of the year on that album, right? Another Kendrick Lamar trophy. Do you think it was a smack in the face for the work that the Clipse and Pharrell put in? Granted that they didn't, it'd been a while since we had a Clip album.
Uh, Knowing how the Grammys always does, it's kind of like I always expected. You know what I mean? That's why I stopped liking the Grammys years
Yeah.
ago for the same reason. But yeah, I'd probably take it that way if I was Eclipse. I would take it that way. Because when you think about the whole politics of it, when it comes to the popularity, when it came to the way that they had a lot of the hype that would go around the story, going back and forth with Drake and everybody. So it was one of those type of things where you just know that they was going to have to hand it to him.
Yeah. And from a hip hop, let me say from a hip hop standpoint, right? And there's no disrespect to any other genre, no disrespect to rock music, there's no disrespect to R&B. We from the 90s, so we was raised on good R&B. But from a hip hop perspective, I think that's falls on this show, because we labeled as a black culture, black hip hop podcast, right? Black political hip hop podcast, if you will. I think that we almost knew where this was going to go, but I didn't know that at this extent, the biasness from a hip hop standpoint, that they was going to choose GNX over the Clipse, but I can see why they didn't, so.
And
And the fact, fellas, that he won more, he's in the top category now for in the Grammys as far as a hip hop artist surpassing Jay-Z.
There's another reason. There's another reason for GNX. You can play GNX as games go on and off. When you think about football games, basketball games, you know what I mean? Songs like those can be played back and forth. That's what they'll be using it for. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that part of it too, the crossover appeal, that's the reason. That's the big reason, the whole crossover effect. Because this is why MC Hammer back in the day would dominate the Grammys back in his heyday. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. You can kind of see the same game kind of plays. It's like the pole pop aspect of things. If you were pop hip hop, if you were able to get over that hurdle, you got a good chance of getting the Grammy.
From a hip hop per standpoint, did that take respect away from Kendrick Lamar's catalog? Are we looking at him as a crossover, or does he even care?
I don't think it takes it away. I don't think it. See, here's how I would do it. If all of a sudden he switches up everything now, like he's straight on pop star status. You know what I mean? If all his songs want to be with Taylor Swift now, all of a sudden he done switched over to the point now he got, you know what I mean? He got all the stars everywhere else, and all his songs sound nothing like he used to be, or even how he is right now. Then you be like, yeah, it got to him, and he's at that point now where he's chasing that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he just stick to his. I mean, sometimes that's what happens though, because all the legends in their time, they have that crossover, whatever, that comes over, and everybody knows them for that, but they still stay true. You know what I mean?
it's it's so interesting though, because I'm looking up the Grammy Awards evaluation criteria. They say that they award based off of artistic and technical merit, not sales or chart positions or popularity or brand influence. And their evaluation criteria are artist excellence, for instance.
Yeah,
So
they gonna
originality,
present. That's what they present, but we all know
right?
that's not true because they showing their
Yeah,
face.
because they saying, for instance, on this artist excellence, the originality and creativity and emotional cultural impact of the work. Voters are, instructed to prioritize innovation and expressive depth. But the problem is, we know that the Grammys, it's a type of cultural gatekeeping. They like canonical sound versus innovative on the genre bending sound. Because if it there's so many other albums that I can think of that does that chose depth and expressiveness, that ain't the ones that they got up. The ones that up, the ones that do win usually are the most popular that have the most industry clout.
Maybe that's where that whole cultural impact aspect. That's why the clout has to weigh in there. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but it's like, come on. And to be fair, how many times, from you guys' knowledge, how many times does the underground get rewarded? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of brothers and sisters in the underground that's putting out real expressive content that has impact. You know what I mean? But they not Alfredo. You just mentioned Alfredo. That's not really
Yeah,
underground,
they
but
don't.
like,
They
come on, bro.
like Gov said they don't. They don't. They don't. Like Gov said they don't. Like Gov said they don't check. Like Gov said he mentioned they don't check the major boxes. They don't check the boxes that they're looking for. Like
Then they can't
we
say
have
that.
our
That's all
own criteria.
marketing.
We have a yeah. We have our own. We have our own standards of what the best hip hop album is, and they have their own standards. Like we have our own standards on what the best album of the year is, and they have their own standards. You get what I'm
Now,
saying? So knowing this, go.
now I could argue this, right? Okay, maybe the underground, right? Because another dimension that they have is technical proficiency, right? Maybe the quality of
Mhm.
production, engineering, or songwriting, or arrangement, or performance lacks in the underground, and they could argue that that's why they don't put a lot of underground artists. But Alfredo was, I mean, that's not technically super underground, but that's great production. Alfredo too.
Well, yeah. Um,
And I can't say it's because of a lack of plays because I'm looking at it on Spotify now, just looking at all the plays they had on for that album, Alfredo 2. You got 12, 23 million for one of the songs with Anderson .Paak, so you can't say it's because of that. So the popularity part would have definitely put that in if it wasn't for that. You know what I mean? Just for that. So yeah, that's why I see why artists are saying things like this is opaque. Like, all right, does it have to depend on the actual engine? Because you know sometimes every industry has their favorites. You know what I mean? So when you think about the recording industry, there's a lot of behind the scenes individuals like the engineers, the producers, more than just the artists that we see in front of the screen. So a lot of those, who's in with the crowd, who's not. So you know, you never know the
Yeah.
politics that they play.
it
Yeah.
says right here, boy.
Okay.
It says right here, Drake won 5 Grammys, but he got nominated 55 times, and it says that the first won in 2011 Best Rap Album for Take Care. It says recently won in 2023. He won the Best Melodic Rap Performance, whatever that is. But um, let's get back to Take Care real quick. Take Care to me was a Drake classic. Do I deem it as an underground album? No, straight industry to the core.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
I'm gonna piggyback on what you said, Ty. I don't think that the Grammys award um, hardcore or underground type of rough, edgy rap.
Mm-mm.
It's not good. It's not a good look for them, you know. And I think that I don't know if there's one out there. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think hip hop needs its own award show. I don't think the Grammy should be the 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 top of the mountain.
Now, correct my ignorance on this one, right? BT isn't like the I mean, I guess it don't have the same caliber.
Yeah.
Like the BET Awards. That's not like something hip hop centered.
I don't know. Is it still going? I thought it was like
I
art.
think they stopped that. They stopped that on.
Oh man, don't listen to me.
Yeah, so that thing is gone. I mean, but like I said, I guess they try their best, and I think the things that they said that they stand by, um, don't hold truth to it
Ah,
because
It's still going, supposedly.
oh, it is. Well, I thought they stopped the doggone BET Awards,
look,
you know.
I,
But
if they if they want to fix their to regain the trust of people, I think they're gonna have to include in the next coming years, they're gonna have to include genre bending underground people and not just do it for one time, two times, but they need to have people that's really digging and finding people that are just defining because otherwise it just seems like it's just cultural gatekeeping, who
Yeah, that's what it is. Exactly what it is.
you know what I mean? As long as that's there, they need to for the next years. If they wanted to do their self service this year, they should have went out and got a bunch of underground artists and unknown artists and so on and so forth. That's the only time we can say, okay, maybe their standards did change because they departed from having major industry players.
And the other hip hop artist that won the album of the year was Lauryn Hill for the album The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill in 1999, fellas.
That's gracious.
So again, depend on how you look at it. I don't think The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was considered a hip hop album. Only had like 3 or 4 rap songs on there. The rest of it was like R&B and singing. But that's what they judge. That's how they look at hip hop, You're not gonna get Wu-Tang in there. You're not gonna get Jay-Z in there. You know what I'm saying? And if we're gonna talk about album sales and cultural change and marketing, Jay-Z in his prime was like, what better artist can you pick?
So
with a street edge and could, check all those boxes.
yeah. So
So
the question now is, do those rewards even mean anything besides opening access to industry clout and stuff like that? Does that really honor someone's work or push the industry forward at all?
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna let Gov in on this. I think it does good for the individual artists who get selected, but as far as the culture and as far as us is concerned, it does nothing for us.
Yeah.
It does nothing for us.
And you can't even argue now in even just casual conversations. You really can't even argue. Like, oh, Kendrick won a Grammy. Don't that say that he's good or something? It's like, all right, I don't know. I don't think it has that same weight if they just gatekeeping the way they are.
Yeah. Gov, you can end on this one. Like, to go back on what Ty was saying, how does the Grammys benefit the winner, the artists in general, as far as hip hop? Or do we even care? People that's purists.
I think
do we even care?
It benefits them as far as their brand definitely benefit them when it comes to their opportunities that they're able to do a lot of different things. I think that benefit all the Grammy winners when you think about their different genres, because a lot of these folks end up doing these collaborations that opens that door for them to step out into the more, I guess, into the pop world more so, you know what I mean? Or they're able to find some of these other jazz and these other artists that you never would have thought these other collaborations could have happened. So it's one of those type of things. But when you think about the way that the Grammys are set up, like the categories, you only get best rap performance, best melodic rap performance, best rap song, best rap album. That's 4. So when you think about that, and as diverse as hip hop is, you really can't. You're already stuck right there anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's so diverse that you kind of gotta favor one way or another. You gotta be biased in order to put this together, given the fact that this is why it's always going to be like that. And you got 96 categories overall when you think about the Grammys. So it's one of them overall things they trying to just give everybody a little bit, but they get so much because they dominate so many of the other genres. You know what I mean? So that's why I like the sentiment of being able to have our own type of award show. I love the idea of the Source Awards back in the day.
Yep. I knew it was something I was missing. Right. We kept saying BET, Source Award.
Yeah, that idea was a great idea. They just wasn't able to really just make it pop off and stay like a legit type of an institution. If they would, and
we know why.
Yeah,
we know why. We know why. They need to bring that back.
Yeah.
And they need to bring that back for several reasons. They just need to bring it back because this is not hip hop. And you know, I can't speak on the other genres of rock and roll and so forth. But when it comes to this hip hop, this affair of ours, nah, we're not going for this.
Right, but key word, best rap song, best rap album.
I know that shit. I know that shit, yeah.
What I call it?
The volcano from out of Iceland, they come to take over the rap game like the white man. Iller than Hitler, photobomb and Yahoo, ready bomb missile. Watch me do it like the Pointer Sisters. Slip arsenic in your corn liquor. Two bigger L's than the Aubrey nigga. From Pappy Mason to Pastor Mason, the church is vacant. Preacher with Bobby, trapped in the basement. I'm laughing, just imagine the Sleepy Beauty had herpes.